Theodora began where most stories are expected to end, at the very bottom of Constantinople, the daughter of a bear-keeper, an actress, a woman the world was trained to overlook, to judge, to reduce to circumstance. She was meant to remain invisible, a figure of entertainment, a passing shadow in the machinery of empire. But power has always followed a different logic. Justinian, the future emperor, saw what others could not beauty, not status, not reputation. He recognized something far more dangerous and far more valuable, a mind of exceptional clarity, an intellect capable of influence, calculation, and vision. To marry her, he changed the laws of the empire. Empires do not rewrite rules for romance. They rewrite them for necessity. Theodora was not chosen as decoration. She was chosen as force. She entered a world built on lineage, hierarchy, and rigid privilege, and did not dissolve within it. She reshaped it, not through spectacle, but through presence, through intelligence, through an authority that required no title to be felt. History often obsesses over where a person comes from. Power is decided by where a person can rise. Theodora rose from the margins of society to the center of an empire, not by chance, but by magnitude. When the city burned, it was not only stone grandeur that collapsed, it was the illusion of power itself. Constantinople was drowning in chaos. The crowd devoured order. Flames consumed the streets. The empire, once thought eternal, suddenly revealed its fragility. In that moment, men hardened by war, commanders of armies, began to speak of escape, a strategy of retreat, the preservation of life, cold calculation. Even Justinian hesitated, and then came a sentence heavier than any command. Theodora did not shout, did not threaten, did not plead. She spoke calmly, almost coldly. Royal purple is the noblest shroud. There was no despair in those words, only absolute clarity. Retreat would not mean survival, it would mean the end. Flight would not mean life, it would mean the loss of power, name, history. She chose not safety. She chose the inevitability of strength. Sometimes a throne is not held by armies. Sometimes it is held by the will of a single human being. That day, the empire witnessed a simple truth. Power is not walls, not legions, not crowns. Power is the decision not to step back when the entire world is collapsing. And it was that decision that saved the throne. The modern world has strangely inverted its priorities. Today, it is easy to change a face, lips, cheekbones, shape, contour. Appearance has become a project, something that can be purchased, adjusted, upgraded. But there is one thing for which no quick procedure exists: character. It cannot be built in a week. It cannot be edited with a filter. It cannot be financed on credit. It is forged through pressure, choices, responsibility, pain, and growth. Many still cling to an old illusion. Power over a man comes from beauty, attraction, effect. Yet appearance can capture attention, not command reality. It can create the impression of strength, but not strength itself. True influence is born deeper. Theodora did not enter history because of flawless features. She entered because of the magnitude of her presence, because of intellect, will, and inner gravity. She ruled alongside her husband, not because she adorned the throne, but because she embodied power. Appearance may open a door. Only character decides who remains inside. Beauty attracts the eye. Personality shapes destiny, and history remembers the difference forever. Beauty without intelligence is a hook without bait. Yes, you can catch the eye, collect likes, admiration, attention. But attention is not power. It is only a brief flash of interest. Appearance is the fastest form of capital and the most unstable. Today you are striking. Tomorrow someone younger, brighter, fresher appears. The beauty market is ruthless. It is always searching for the next model. If there is emptiness inside, replacement is inevitable. The problem is that many confuse entry with position. Beauty may open a door, but it does not secure a seat in the room. It attracts, but it does not retain. It generates interest, but it does not create significance. Real value is not built by a face. It is built by substance, character, intelligence, energy, depth, the ability to influence, to think, to hold attention not through form, but through presence. Without this, appearance becomes disposable. In a world that updates at insane speed, emptiness is detected instantly. And then the cold logic of modernity takes over. You will be replaced, quietly, without drama, without explanation, like an outdated version of an iPhone. Beauty is an advantage. Only intelligence turns it into an asset. Everything else has an expiration date. History is an extremely selective force. It does not care who was beautiful. Beauty makes noise in its own time, but rarely survives it. It dazzles contemporaries, yet eternity remains unimpressed. History remembers something else: courage. The decision to move toward what is frightening. The choice not to retreat when it would be easier to disappear. The willingness to stake comfort, status, and safety. That is what creates the magnitude of a person. Theodora was not born in a palace. She inherited no privileges of blood. Her starting conditions were what society usually calls a sentence. But the social elevator is not a myth. It is a mechanism, and it works only for those willing to press the most dangerous button: risk. Ascent always demands payment, doubt, pressure, uncertainty, sometimes the complete absence of guarantees. Most people want to rise without turbulence, without fear, without loss. That never happens. Theodora reached the highest floor not because of luck, but because she refused to step out at the intermediate levels.